Move on to 1 p.m. Eastern. Philadelphia Eagles 2-5, 2-2 on the road at Detroit Lions, 0-7, 0-3 at home. We're at Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. We have Detroit. Oh, that's first half. Sorry, let me move over the full game quickly here. We have Detroit opening up as 3-point dogs. That's moved to 3.5 at both Will Hill, Bet365, and Sports Interaction. The total is sitting at 47.5 or 48. It opened at 48.5, so a slight move towards the under. From a cash flow side of things, we have 3,379 tickets in. 46% of the tickets on Philadelphia, 69% of the cash. Then we have 48% of tickets on the over and 98% of cash, which is wild. Absolutely wild. Eagles come in off an ugly 33-22 loss at Las Vegas. They're now 2-5, losers of 2 straight and 5 of their last 6. After opening with a score and leading 7-0 at the end of 1, they were outscored 30-0 over the second and third quarters. Jalen Hurts, 18-34 for 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Also ran 13 times for 61 yards, and he lost a fumble. Dallas Goedert's first game without teammate Zach Ertz, guy he looked up to. He caught 33 passes for 70 yards. Devontae Smith caught 5 passes for 61 yards. As a team, the Eagles ran 32 times for 135 yards. Another game in which the Eagles could apply no pressure, getting 0 sacks and just 2 quarterback hits. The defense allowed Las Vegas to score on 5 straight possessions after its first series ended. Miles Sanders limped off late in the first quarter, barely able to put pressure on his right leg. He did not return. He's now week to week with a high ankle sprain. Arcega-Whiteside was hurt in the third quarter with a back injury. And Sirianni said Lane Johnson left Sunday's game early because he got stepped on, so he's listed as questionable. Safety Anthony Harris and Jack Anderson, their guard, also listed as questionable. Detroit comes in off a 28-19 loss in Jared Goff's return to L.A. against the Rams. I wonder if, and I'm trying to just taking a quick look to Birdie, see if I wonder if Detroit is coming off a very emotional football game where they laid it all out on the line, and now they come home in a vulnerable spot.
I'm feeling that, Jimmy. Like a lot of guys talked about in the chat, and I'll admit when I'm wrong. I made fun of the idea that this was Detroit's Super Bowl. Well, I didn't make fun of that. I just made fun of the fact that it didn't matter. But they came out hard in that game. They did. They came out. They looked good early on, and they were pulling out trick plays and fake punts and stuff. Like they wanted that game. And they just got outclassed. They did. But you're right, Jimmy. It's an emotional. It's a tough loss. They laid a lot out of there. But I still think. Sorry. Finish. I cut you off.
No, I love it. Anytime. I love it. Ron Crawford has Philadelphia as a spreadsheet play. I wonder if Ron Crawford will make it a spreadsheet play of the day. Birdie says Lions did all they could to win last week, and they covered. They did. And Gerald Jones says Detroit's got the bye next week, goes all in this week. Harold Williams says Lions could win this game. I heavy 08s on Lions +3. Let's go. I have a feeling, and this is sort of just coming to fruition now in my thoughts, that Detroit is coming off a very emotional game. And the fact that this is a moving so quickly in Philadelphia's favor makes me think that there has to be sharp money believing that they took their shot and they're going to come back without as much energy in this spot, and that the public is going to be all over Detroit after watching what they did last week. We have 54% of the tickets on Detroit, but 31% of the cash. And those of you who are on Detroit, I get it. I get it from a psychological, subconscious standpoint. You have this team going all out to trying to get wins. You have their coach crying in post-game pressers. You have them getting horribly unlucky on very unlikely field goals. You have all these emotions when Goff goes back to LA and they play hard. This team plays hard for Dan Campbell. So I can understand why your subconscious would say, and look, Detroit could win this game, and I'm not saying they can't, but I can understand why one subconscious would say, oh, Detroit's live here, Detroit's live. When maybe this is just a shit football team.
I think. Look, I'm gonna back up exactly what you're saying here, Jimmy. I think that's emotion. That's fans' emotion looking at what's happening with this team, and they're buying in. But at the end of the day, like they still don't have a lot of good players on this team, and they still have a bunch of injuries to important players that they need. It's they want. It's not, you can't even call it a Cinderella story because, unless they win out, they're not even sniffing the playoffs, and that's not going to happen. So there's no Cinderella story happening here. This is just a not very good team that does seemingly play really hard and make some games interesting that shouldn't be interesting. And look, came out hot against this Rams team. So yeah, of course you're like, hey man, this team's getting it together, but I agree with the idea that they're going to come out flat against an Eagles team that's frankly better than them. There's, I don't think that they're going into the bye, and we'll be saying the same thing after the bye. We'll be like, oh, they had a bye week. Dan Campbell fired them up. They got a shot to win this week or at least cover the spread. I don't see it.
This is interesting. And New Quarter says, but what do the Eagles have? And look, I get it. I get it. Let's just hammer the lines a little bit more here. Goff has never won an NFL start without McVay as his head coach. He's 0-14. Khalif Raymond looked good. Caught 6 passes for 115 yards. TJ Hawkinson. Everybody defending this line squad knows that you have to keep that Hawkinson is DeAndre Swift is a very real weapon. But Hawkinson, 6 passes for 48 yards. Swift ran 13 times for 40 yards, caught 8 passes for 96 yards and 1 touchdown. Jamal Williams ran 12 times for 57 yards. But the Lions could get no pressure on Stafford. They sack him once. They only hit him once. Siebert kicked 4 field goals. Look at what the special teams did for the Lions. They kicked 4 field goals. They recover an early onside kick. They run 2 successful fake punts. They put it all out on the line. Trey Flowers injures his knee in the second half. This is questionable this week. A.J. Parker, a DB, injured his shoulder in the second half. He's doubtful. Their guard, Logan Stenberg, was placed on IR. They already lost Frank Ragnow. Now they're going to lose Logan Stenberg. So with Miles Sanders not in the lineup, you got
Kenneth Gainwell.
Kenneth Gainwell.
His name is Gainwell. Come on.
I think that as a fan, we want, with Detroit showing all his heart, to win, and that the gambler should take advantage of that. But the fact that this has gone to 3.5 for me hurts. Hurts that it took me this long to think about it and figure it out. If I wanted to get the 3, and I'm certainly not going to do this under any circumstances, minus 138. Fuck, maybe I just missed this. Maybe I just got to let this shit go. I can't get the 3.5. You can, though, Bebsie, if you want it.
Yeah, I'm still seeing 3. I'm still seeing a 3 at Pinnacle here.
Yeah.
Which I am going to move on.
I get it. I should have figured this out earlier, but, all these sports, all this work, it just takes a little time for it to sink in. Eagles minus 3 for Bebsie at minus 121. And I'll be keeping a close eye on this, but I just can't take that 3.5, I don't think.
I'm also very intrigued by this over, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think either team has a particularly strong defense. Now, I don't think either team has a particularly strong offense, but if you want to talk about the bright spots of Detroit right now, it's Hawkinson and Swift. And, Penei Sewell, I believe, will be a premier left tackle. So, there's something going on there. They've got 3 potential blue chip players on this offense. They still have Jared Goff, but and then on the other side, the Eagles offense, they have Devonta Smith. They've got, Jalen Hurts, who's, I think, again, I'm going to defend him in that he is still technically a rookie. He has not played a full 16 games or 17 games now. But you see great things from him. You see bonehead things from him. But I just don't see either one of these defenses putting up much of a fight. So I also really like this over. Am I crazy to like this over? Can we hear from the chat a bit on this?
I think it's a very interesting take that I hadn't thought of, but I think you're right. And from a market standpoint, now we have a very small amount of tickets in, but the early action, generally sharper action, at this point, 48% of tickets are on the over and 98% of cash. Just means huge bets have come in on the over and it's dropped. Yeah, I see points in this game. Why wouldn't there be? Why wouldn't there be, especially with the way the Detroit defense looks, for one, and DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. I mean, you have so many options for Goff. That's why Goff's looked pretty good this year. And then you have to think that the Eagles will be able to put up their own. Alvin Smith over all day. Al Cervix says over. Viper says Toll's gone over in 5 of Detroit's last 5 games when playing Philadelphia. And Harold Williams says sneaky good idea over, but I don't know, says Harold Williams. Al Cervix says both teams absolutely going for broke. That's another huge part, that if the Eagles want to have anything to do this year, they have to come out of this 3-5. Burgundy Bet says don't take the 3. I would never make a bet with minus 138 juice. I would never, unless I was, going down to Vegas saying I'm gonna, put $5,000 on this to pay for everything, pay for the trip, pay for the flights, pay for everything. Then maybe the juice isn't as important. But for a regular spot, okay.
I'm moving on this over. When my man Alvin Smith and Al Cervic come in, they're the first 2 guys commenting and agreeing with that look. That's a good sign. I like those guys. I'm gonna jump on this over, Jimmy.
I'm gonna line shop for you right now. Alvin Smith says love public on the Eagles. I'm on Detroit. Let me reiterate that the public is not on Philadelphia. So we have 3,391 tickets in, and 54% of the tickets are on the Lions, and I expect that to only go up.
Emotions.
But 31% of the cash is on the Lions. That's the big bets are coming on the Eagles. Okay, so I like it. I think this makes sense here, and I wonder what we can get. Let's line shop for Bebsie right now here. We are going to be able to get you on the total here. We have over 47.5 and minus 110 available at Sports Interaction. We'll give you that. So, and I think I want in on this. Over 47.5 minus 110. So that's a Pinnacle first one. And then this is Sports Interaction. All right, I think I want in. So the over, wrong button, sorry. The over 47.5 or 48. And I do not expect this to keep going down.
You know what? Maybe it's the IPAs talking. But I'm starting to feel real fucking good about this card.
All right, there you go, Bebsie.
I'm starting to feel real good. I came in not feeling too good. I'm feeling pretty good about it right now.
Harold Williams says it goes down to 47.5 by Sunday. It's at 47.5 a couple books. I don't know if it does right now because all the early cash is on the over. I'm interested. I'm not going to take the Eagles with 3.5. But it wouldn't shock me if the 3 became available at some point. So I'm just going to keep my eye out. All right, let's move on. Burgundy Bet says all my available books only have a 48.5. Interesting. Let me just do a double check here to make sure that I have the smaller than that. Yeah, the 47.5 or 48. 47.5 for Sports Interaction, 48 at Bet 365. And 5-0 says Ron Crawford and Braves. I don't know why I got talked off of the first 5 over. Ridiculous.